All right, guys, we are officially in session. Yes, the recording and the slides will be made available to all of you. So no worries over there. So my name is Pragith Prakash, and I am based out of Riverview, New Brunswick, in Canada. And I am going to be your study group instructor for the next 5 to 6 weeks for your road to Google Developer Certification in getting certified with Google Cloud Associate, Google Cloud Certified Associate Cloud Engineer. ACE, Associate Cloud Engineer, that is the certification that we are targeting within the next 5 to 6 weeks. So, what does that mean? What do you need to do from your part? What role will I play in your success? We will be talking all about those things in the coming minutes and hours. This is week one of week out of week 6 weeks, and this is not a formal session or formal lecture or a workshop or a boot camp. um, we are all here on a weekend. We all have our own full-time jobs and or studying students or businesses, and we are trying to upskill ourselves and see and learn how this particular module of learning can help you or me or all of us in our career growth and networking growth. That is the goal of what we are trying to do. And by the end, the good news that I wanted to share before recording the call, I had mentioned that we have a good news. Well, the good news is that we are working um, in the background. It's still a work in progress in procuring Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer certification exam vouchers for uh, for the top three or top five. Uh, all of you in that leaderboard. So we'll have our own leaderboard where we will track how you all of you are performing in your quick labs or cloud skill boost application, and then we'll see how much progress you have made and how many badges you have collected, and then automatically you will be ranked in a leaderboard within our leaderboard, the cohort that we have right now, and few people who are probably missing right now and eventually join in the future. So we will select towards the end of the week 5 or week 6 of this program. We will see who has finished or who is leading in that leaderboard, and then top 3 or top 5, we'll give them the exam voucher. We are planning and we are in progress of procuring it. We have not procured it yet, so I'll give you the formal confirmation after some time. But that is what we are planning to do. So that is the good news. So, do you have any questions based on what I just said?
Albert Chan wants to know if the ACE exam is easy.
Easy exam. Okay, so that's a good question, and thanks, Vaniam. The competition starts, Ravi. Yes, and Meredith, thank you for confirmation. We'll see how much it is, Yuri. So, Albert, it depends on your current experience level and your background. One, it also depends on your let's say that you don't have any experience and background. You are coming into this session. When I say you, I mean any. It can apply to anyone else. You're coming into this session with only the knowledge of, yes, developer 101. It depends. All you need to know is English and lot of enthusiasm of IT, information technology or tech, or cloud, and all these geeky things that we are going to look at. So you need to have a lot of enthusiasm if you don't have any background. If you have a lot of background or medium level background, medium level to good level of enthusiasm is enough. So this is the proportion that I'm looking for in the audience. And now if you have that, then it is an easy exam, just like any other exams. Otherwise, it may become a little tricky for you. However, having said that, the most difficult exams from Google Cloud are their professional data engineer and professional cloud architect exams. Albert and others, did that help you? Did that help answer your question? Yeah. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. And let's look at the cost of the exam. Is um, Sydney Morris says it's 125. It could be 125. Oops. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, it is 125. So 125. So you can see that we are sponsoring, or we are planning to sponsor the certification of few of you in the leaderboard. So I hope that is a good motivation from here on to get started. And well, let's move forward. Okay. So, why are we here about certification? We could be meeting and talking about so many other things. There is Firebase, Android, Flutter, so many things that we could be talking about, right? Um, yes, but here the focus is a curriculum based, a structured path where you can learn step by step, you can build your skills and eventually get enough experience and knowledge to attempt for a certification that can accelerate your career. I am both professional data engineer and professional cloud architect certified. Those were two both grueling exams, but they have helped me a lot in my career. They have helped me in two ways. It takes a lot of prep time, but after the hard work, the result was, first of all, in getting headhunted by other companies for these roles, because now the certification is getting highlighted on my screen, on my profile. The second thing is it helps you get a holistic picture of all the services of a product offering or a service offering. So you may not be dealing with all these services, cloud services, on a daily basis. I don't do all the time, even though I'm professionally certified. I don't do. But when you are preparing for it, you get that aha moment. You get that, okay, this is what IoT means. Okay, this is what PubSub is. This is what subscriber publisher model means. I have read this in Medium blog posts. I've read this on LinkedIn, but I never was able to visualize how it works. And for a moment, like we are going to see today and eventual 6 weeks, we are going to go through that experience. You're going to go through an experience of a cloud engineer. So even though all of you may or may not be from this background, for the next 6 weeks you are going to go through the tools, the command line arguments, the commands they type, the things they see, they don't see, the buttons they click. You're going to go through that experience, and after you come out of that experience, then you will be in a better position to answer yourself the question, the it depends question. Is this for me or it is not? If did the process make you happy, even if you were frustrated with the errors, but was that a good type of frustration, or did it discourage you from doing it further? That is what you need to see yourself, assess yourself, and then take the journey, learning journey from there. All right. Now, that is the whole point of learning something and then looking at this. The validity of the certification depends on which certificate you are going through. If it is ACE, the recertification, I see someone said 3 years, but the professional certifications are for 2 years. Can anyone really confirm it is for 3 years? Yeah, it is 3 years. From October 1, from today, it is going to be for 3 years. I think they just changed it. Wow, what a timing, right? I just learned something. They keep changing, and that's the whole thing, right? They keep evolving, and that's why the certifications expire, because the technology evolves the moment you're done studying. You close the book, you stop watching the video, and then the technology has evolved. So that's why you need to keep sharpening the pencil, and only the sharpened pencil gets picked up by the recruiters. And sharpening the pencil is a painful process. um, there is a lot of sacrifice, that's a lot of pain, but if you want to be selected, if you want to be picked, you have to go through that process. All right, so let's move on. Okay, sorry, a few more questions. The exam will be easier because we are doing it together. That's correct, Vania. How about group rate for those who wants to buy? I am not sure. For that, you need to check that directly. That is what something that we are planning to do. We are planning to acquire a group rate so that we can distribute it to you, to all of you. Not all of you, I mean, to the selection criteria that we'll decide in some time. How long does the class take daily? We'll try to aim. It also depends on the cohort, right? So if someone is asking a lot of questions, or not one, if many people ask a lot of questions, and that takes each question to be answered, it drags that. If people are confident with certain topics and they want to do it asynchronously by themselves, maybe we will be able to end up quite early. So it totally depends. We will be quite flexible and fluid with that. How long will the certification last? That's been answered. So I think I have answered all the questions. Let me know if you have any more questions, or are we good to go? Are you guys excited so far? Do you have any other expectations from what we are going to do? Um, do you have your did you have some completely different expectation or something from the study group? All good? All good. All good. Cool. So you know what? I will go full screen. Why not? And this doesn't look good. Mm, okay, this is better. Okay, so first we'll see about the certification learning journey, and then we'll focus on the ACE certification. So whenever I say ACE, or you see anyone else in the chat saying ACE, we'll try to keep it all caps so that there's no confusion. Otherwise, ACE also means like acing in something, or becoming like a leader in something, or really growing, scoring really high in something, right? So ACE here is Associate Cloud Engineer, and that's exactly what we are focusing on. Meredith, yes, absolutely right. I mean, nothing like a cohort, right? It really boosts up your motivation. Um, so, sneak peek of the study group topics. So, we will look at all the topics, right? So that you know what's in scope. And if you feel that you want to plan for some other Saturdays where we are going to be conducting the session, and if you want to miss that topic for some personal reasons, then you would know what is going to be covered and stuff, right? Um, Certification prep tips and tricks. So throughout the 6 weeks, I'm telling you, I'm going to be dropping so many tips and tricks from my personal experience, from the material that we have. So you're in good hands for sure. Sample questions review. So what we'll do is we will start looking at some sample questions that we have, and that'll also help you with your quick labs or your cloud skill boost quizzes. So it's kind of like a double revision. Basically, the questions that I'm going to ask you, let's say I just covered some basic arithmetics, and then now I'm asking you, hey team, what is 1 plus 2? And then literally, what is 1 plus 2? And then some of you say 3. And then okay, that's good. And then once we get out of these deck and we get to skill boost quizzes, you will probably see a literal question saying one what is 1 plus 2. So because we already covered in the class, and then we had the whole class going informally and answering, hey guys, what do you think is 1 plus 2? And then we all thought and answered that. We already learned. If we didn't know, we learned it is 3. And if we already knew, we all echoed it's 3. So we are all learning. It's like holistic learning, and then we are reaffirming that learning by answering that quiz, which will eventually help us boost in our leaderboard. So that's the goal, right? So classwork and homework are mostly the same in this case. Okay. I'll quickly hold here and ask any questions so far. Okay. So I think now is a good time to introduce myself, other than where I am. Okay. So because we are talking about journey now, I have about 10 years of professional work experience in data science and data engineering. I have been working on cloud since I started working, even before when I was in university. And I've been exposed to computer networking, security, and databases and software development for more than 15 years. I grew up in a family of IT people. Although I'm the first one in my family to be a developer or a programmer, but all around me, people were fascinated with computers, and we always had some or the other bleeding edge technology gadget at our home, because my dad used to have all these demo products in his work. So we always used to have the tablet, HP tablet, compact laptops, all those things at that time. So I was always passionate about technology and computers, and I'm very blessed to say that the work that I do is very much related to what we are talking about, and what I would do even if I got fired. If I got fired tomorrow, I would still open my computer and still be doing something similar to what I was doing if I was doing work, because I love doing it so much that I don't feel like I'm working at all. It feels like I'm playing a game, a Python based or a cloud based game. It's like a puzzle or a mystery that I'm trying to solve. It's just that the puzzle or the mysteries that I'm trying to solve are hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million businesses trying to solve their problems. So it works out like a win-win situation for me. I'm very happy doing what I do. They are very happy receiving the services that I give them. This is what I like to spread. And the reason I'm doing this here, we are all here for free. I'm not getting paid um, for any of this. None of us are getting paid. We are doing this voluntarily on a weekend. All of you are here also on a weekend. So we should give each other that credit that we are all connected together in at least one way, which is the passion for technology, whatever it is. Whatever it is. It could be databases, it could be VMs, it could be anything. We like something, and then we are passionate about it, and that's what brings us together, and that's what makes this more and more informal rather than more and more formal, right? So with that, that is my journey. I am currently a full-time employee of a performance marketing firm called as Tinuity. It's I deal with Google Cloud a lot. Even before this session, I was tweaking some cloud functions code in the background just 15 minutes before this session. Like I said, I just like doing it. so uh, so I hope I'm able to spread this enthusiasm. And if one thing that you can take away from all these sessions is that it's very easy to get onboarded to these things. If you are not at all from this background, let's say you have done English honors, you have done bachelor's in physics or chemistry, you have done some diploma in something, and you only know English. You have to know English, um, and that's it. That's all you have. You can come to this industry. This industry is very welcoming. You do need to spend time. You need to spend hundreds of hours, yes, of your time. You need to pay by the time currency rather than dollar currency. But once you do, it's very rewarding. It's very, very rewarding and self-fulfilling and gratifying, because when you type something, you get instant feedback. You deploy code, you get instant feedback. If it is good, good, happy hormones kicking in. If it's bad, if I mean if the code is bad, if it fails, then it kicks in that that why is it not working? Ugh, I have to make it work kind of a thing. So either way, it is that joyous moment that you're dealing with, right? So so that has been my journey so far. I know that the interface that we are having right now, which is Bevy, it's kind of like one way, unidirectional, me broadcasting things to you. I wish I could unmute all of you, and then you could chat for a while and tell all of your journeys. What we'll do is we'll pin that idea for a moment, for the moment, and we'll figure out some or the other way, maybe in Slack or something. But I do want to know from all of you your journey, however long or short you want to keep it. And the more we get to know your background, the more we are able to clear out that it depends answer, right? Then it no longer depends, because now I know what you know, or and what you don't know. Okay, we will create all that Slack group and we'll communicate eventually. So we are building all these things as we speak, Brian. So quickly going through the messages, all positive messages, happy messages. uh, uh, thank you, Albert, thank you, Chris, Ma, Tejasvi. Tejasvi, what all type of opportunities can we have once we complete the certification? I'll get to that in a moment. Teacher turned developer, graduated from Lighthouse Labs bootcamp in June, Ravi. That's a great story. You are a teacher who turned developer. See, ooh, teacher turned developer. Like I said, the bachelor's in English honors, that's not a made up thing I just said, just for the sake of saying. I know a person who did bachelor's in English honors in India, and he's a senior consultant, AWS DevOps, Amazon Web Services DevOps. He's a senior consultant in Deloitte. English and DevOps. It's like me trying to become a doctor, right? Or a dentist. So that is the thing. So don't get discouraged at any point, is what I'm trying to say. In your journey, in your upcoming journey, don't get discouraged. Talk to me, talk to others. We'll try to remove any blockers you have. I'm pretty sure it's just a virtual mental block you may have, and it can be removed. And if it's removed, then all the new learnings can just start sitting in your head. Okay, so that's the journey. Like I said, it's going to be informal. Let's learn together. Okay, learn together. It's going to be a study group, if you don't already know that. Weekly live sessions for 6 weeks. We'll see the length, 5 to 6 weeks. We'll see how much we are content able to cover and stuff. We'll be flexible there to go through the content and exam prep questions. On demand resources. So there are the courses and hands on labs on Cloud Skill Boost. So we're going to look at all those things. Community forum for support and share knowledge. All right. Vinia, my JavaScript teacher, she had theater background. She's a senior software developer. Look at that, theater. And oh, and because you said theater, if you guys know about a Cloud Guru, which acquired Linux Academy, but a Cloud Guru got acquired by Pluralsight. Well, anyway, there is an instructor in a Cloud Guru who teaches professional cloud architect exam prep material. He used to assemble the what do you say, the technician, like a stage. He was a stage technician in theaters, yeah, lights and other items. And he used to use some amount of computers because for his work, and he got into computers like through that. So yeah, stage tech. So basically doing stage tech, and you had to interact with the device, and through that you got more cozy with that device. And now he's teaching how to prepare for the most difficult IT certification ever made, compared to Azure, AWS as well. Just imagine the tangent there, right? So That's why I like talking about this, because it's always positive and it's only positive. I don't see anything negative here. And look at where we are. All the technologies that we are using right now is running on cloud. So wouldn't you want to know how it works, right? When you turn on YouTube, it always works. When we go to Netflix, it always works. How the heck does it always work, right? Like isn't that magical? Like I'm always amazed with these things. So that's basically, by the way, that's DevOps and sysops, um redundancy, all those philosophy and theories, all those things present in cloud engineering. So how do we make progress in our certification learning journey? Okay, sorry, hold on. There's some question. Yuri, uh, I'm sorry, I don't know how you got that message, Yuri. Please let me know how you got that, and I will see, get that confusion cleared. But it's going to be weekly. We need to be making steady progress. Okay, I hope that doesn't disturb your plans too much. Cool. So skill badges, I know it's all tiny probably on your screen, and it's totally fine if you're not able to read them. Um, Sorry about that, Danny. So yeah, so we don't have to really read all those tiny boxes right now. But what we are trying to do is, this is how we are gamifying the whole learning. This is how we are going to measure our learning. Okay, it's not something like I don't know something today and tomorrow I know everything about cloud ace certification. It's going to be a gradual measured progress. Okay, there are different how do I say, modules or departments, business units, or just units when it comes to cloud concept. You cannot say I know cloud or I don't know cloud. These two sentences don't really mean anything if you're having a conversation with a technical person. You could be chatting with some technically challenged person and say, oh, there's something called as cloud. Everything is on cloud these days. I don't know cloud. That's fine if you're talking to them like that. But if you're talking to someone um, in technology, it's something like talking about programming languages. You cannot tell someone that, or you can say that I know Java or I don't know Java. But when you want to go to the next level of conversation, we talk about modules or libraries. So I may be amazing in Hadoop, but I would maybe zero in Android. But both are Java. So if I'm interviewing for a company saying I know Java, that doesn't mean that I will get hired in both these opportunities. It's like saying that, okay, I know English, which means I get qualified to attend the interview, but then in the interview, do I know the modules, the business requirement, or the libraries or the framework that is required for that job? All right. Thanks for highlighting, and thanks, Winnie, for correcting it. Thanks, guys. uh, we are evolving as we do this, and I hope by at least by 1 or 2 weeks we'll be in a quite matured position with all the study groups, Slack groups, all those kind of things. So don't lose hope there. Knowing the particulars of knowledge in depth also continues learning process, because the tech continues to advance and innovate. Absolutely. But not just that. I'm talking about a book, right? A book is a library of frameworks, as in, do you know the Android book? Do you know the Hadoop book? Do you know some other book? So no, I have only read this book. I don't know the other book. So similarly, here I may know a lot about infrastructure modernization, but I may be zero in machine learning and analytics and AI. This one. I may be very good in security, but I may not know anything about smart analytics. I hope you're able to, when it comes to cloud, I hope you're able to connect the dots. I don't know anything in Android, but I know a lot about Hadoop. So I know JavaScript, but I don't know Vue.js. I don't know the older Angular. Forget about the new Angular for a moment. The older Angular JS. I know JavaScript, but I don't know Angular JS, but I know jQuery. So do you see how it is a mix and match? Each one of us by the end of 6 weeks will be in this mix. Some of us will know a lot about infrastructure modernization. Some of us may be a little weak in security, or stronger in security, but the other person is weaker in security. So it will always be a mix. It's very hard to be an expert in all of them. You need to be surrounded by this 24/7 and have literally no life if you want to be an expert. It's very hard, even for Google employees themselves, even Google Cloud employees themselves who work on these products, to not know everything. Businesses are built on each of these rows that you see. Just one startup can focus on security and build its entire business on Google Cloud security, need not touch anything else. That's a startup idea. There you go. Then another company can only do AI. It's an AI startup, and it's only doing ML on cloud. It doesn't know what is VM. Those company people, employees don't know what is infrastructure modernization, what is DevOps. They don't know. They only know machine learning and analytics. So, what does that mean for you? Remember this. Take a screenshot of this, or you will be given this slide deck and everything. Make a note of this, whatever. These are some of the pillars of cloud, no matter which cloud you want to do. These are the pillars of, or the business units or departments of cloud. Your your objective should be that, to measure how much do I know in each of these topics, and if I have gaps, how can I fill those gaps, and if I'm strong in something, well, enjoy. Enjoy. If you're strong in something, just have a beer. So but if you are weaker in some topic, then try to identify how you can get stronger in that topic. Okay, make sure that you don't have any mental blocks. I have tried learning about IP addresses. I've just given up on subnets. No, don't give up. Okay. Does all of these make sense? You will be doing all these sessions, hands-on labs and everything, on your own time. Some we may do in during these lecture, not lectures, these classes. Some we may do asynchronously. And by the way, just because I said lecture, I forgot to mention one thing, that I'm also an adjunct professor in Cambrian College, which is in Sudbury, Ontario. So I teach stats and data visualization and API development using Python, and dashboard development using Excel. These are the topic subjects that I teach for a um, graduate level certificate called as Business Analytics Program. So I forgot to mention that when I was telling you about my IT background. So there you go. So having said that, the focus is on cloud engineer. What is cloud engineer? So you can see all the other certifications here, right? All of them are professional certification, and there is one called cloud digital leader, and there's only one associate level exam. So here Google formally says that if you're doing any foundational exam, which is the cloud digital leader, you don't really need any experience. If you're going to attempt associate cloud engineer, then It's asking you to have at least 6 months of hands-on experience with Google Cloud. Do we really have 6 months in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? No. So how can we get that? We would need to accelerate our learning process. We would need to face ourselves with more simulated situations rather than real work situations. You can't wait for your client to give you a danger situation or an emergency situation so that you can act on it. We will come up with our own situations, labs, so that we can get acquainted with those kind of experiences very, very soon, quickly, as early as possible and as much as possible. So we're going to surround ourselves with Google Cloud. And for finally, for the professional certifications, well, you can see, you know what, my this is what Google says. My personal opinion on this is my personal, this is just mine, okay? 5+ years of industry experience. It is very difficult. These exams are very, very difficult. You can go ahead and quickly Google the certification, and you can search how difficult they are. And you can also search what are the most difficult IT certifications right now in 2022 or 2021, whatever. You will get this and this in the search result. The ML, DevOps, and few others are relatively newer certifications. And if doing the associate really encourages you to do more, then by all means go ahead and do it. However, having said all these recommended requirements, these are not set in stone requirements. No one is stopping you from directly registering for professional cloud architect or data engineer exam and directly giving it. I personally have never given associate cloud engineer exam, because the next level of it is professional cloud architect. So because I've already given the cloud architect exam, I didn't feel like giving this one. Okay. Any questions from whatever we have discussed so far? Cool. Let's keep moving ahead. And then if any question pops up, I will stop and read. Okay. So an associate cloud engineer, they what they do, we need to have two components. I'm just searching for the right word. Two components defined here. One is the adjective element, and the other one is the verb element. Okay. So of course the qualitative attributes of an engineer, and to some degree quantitative or actionable aspects of an engineer, of a cloud engineer. So we'll get to the quality of an engineer when I get to the interview tips. How I'm also writing a book on the data consultant handbook, as in like how should they maintain their schedules, how should they exercise, and what are the things they should do, and how they should be to be a good successful cloud engineer consultant. And the actionable attributes of a cloud engineer are somewhat more than a professional cloud architect. So you could say that and this is just informal number here, 80% of the time spent by a professional cloud architect is in designing, and 20% is a little bit of is implementing, and it is the opposite for the associate cloud engineer. For the associate cloud engineer, it is 80% of their time is spent in actions, in deploying, in monitoring, in clicking buttons, in typing things. Not just thinking, it's doing, right? And 20% you could say documentation and logging, all those kind of things. So if a person is spending 80% of their time and more in doing things, in knowing about the technology, sorry, in clicking buttons, in typing things and running scripts, then don't you think that that individual should have a fair amount of knowledge of the ecosystem that they are dealing with, right? If they are going to be doing that, then they should know which button to click. Where is that button? Is that the right button to click? Which command to run? Is that the right command to run? Is the right permission being given or not? So these are the kind of things that they need to be aware of. Is what is a permission, what is a role, what is a policy, all these words that I'm throwing around. So an engineer needs to first pull up their socks, get their holistic knowledge in all the departments, work in that, and then grow towards designing those things. All right, if it makes sense. So, the formal definition says that an engineer, a cloud engineer, deploys applications, monitors operations, and manages in enterprise solutions. So, you can see all these are verbs, right? This individual is able to use Google Cloud console and the command line interface to perform common. So the UI and the CLI. So like I was saying, the buttons and the commands that the individual will be typing to perform common cloud based tasks, to maintain one or more deployed solutions that leverage Google Cloud solutions. So I absolutely butchered the definition there, but I hope I was able to convey the gist of what an associate cloud engineer is expected to do. Now, a quick pause here. Two questions. How many of you are with me so far, with my explanation of this so far? And the second question is, how many of you like this job role? Yeah, yeah, everyone likes. Yeah, awesome, awesome. My energy is fueled by your responses. So the more you respond, you could even say no, that's fine, as long as you're responding. That's fine for me. um oh, Meredith, you want to do data engineering? We can always connect, maybe offline, or maybe sometime down the line eventually, as we go through these sessions. Happy to talk about and nerd out on data engineering. um, that's great, awesome. Keep this feedback thing alive. um, all right, so moving on. Now that you know the role, what is the exam expecting out of you? um Robbie, yes, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So what is expected out of you? You should know how to set up a cloud solution environment. This is like your checklist, a very high level checklist. By the end, before you um, decide and book your exam, come back to this checklist and see, do I know this? Do I know this? Do I know this? So you should know how to set up a cloud solution environment. You should plan and configure a cloud solution, deploy and implement a cloud solution, ensure that the things that you've deployed run successfully, and configure access and security. Now, here is the first interview tip, sort of, not literally interview, I would say interview prep tip for you. Okay. The most important thing out of this thing that you see, of entire list that you see, is the third one. People of any experience struggle to do this. They can talk about cloud, they can give presentations on cloud like how I am doing. They can talk up, they can even configure security. Phew, I can show it to you in like 5 minutes and we'll be done. They can even ensure by just looking at, like clicking things and looking at the chart and saying, oh yeah, it is running, it is up, it is down, it is up. Oh, I'll click this button to restart. It's very easy to do. You just need to know English and a little bit of business context to do that. Deployment. If you are coding something on your system and you're uploading that thing to the cloud, that action is called as deployment. You are deploying something and initiating an infrastructure in the cloud. So when you want to do that, that skill is hard to find. Deployment, people don't know how to deploy things. They get scared. I don't know cloud. They freeze, literally freeze. I have seen people freezing in interviews when I conduct them. They just not because of me, just they just freeze. There's some mental block for few people. I don't know why, that's why I'm doing this, to understand and take away that mental block. Don't freeze. Okay, and next 6 weeks, the core focus is going to be that deployment and all those quick labs credits, cloud skill boost. What are those credits? So that you can deploy. Otherwise, everything is just theory. Make sense? Make sure to assess yourself real time and see, am I scared of deployment? Is something stopping me from writing a script and clicking the run button? Is something stopping me from learning about how to do OAuth, API based authentication? um, what is stopping me? How can I get rid of that? Because those things are your deployment issues. And don't they're like, I'm very sensitive in using this word, and I know that I'm going to use a word. It's a very sensitive word. I'm sorry if it is very sensitive to you, for any of your personal reasons, but I have to use it to really convey the punch of what I'm trying to convey. Your self doubt in your deployment knowledge or your weakness is almost like cancer or like corrosion of all the other knowledge that you have built. And I'm sorry if I use that word. Um, it will corrode your other confidence that you have built. Let's say rust. It's like rust. Okay, so deployment is very important. Looking at the questions, what is the definition of deploy here? I think that's part of the block for me. Is there any in any particular cloud service? Okay, is there a main determining factor that all these people you mentioned, public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud? Okay, wonderful questions. I want to answer all of them. Cool. So starting with Meredith's question, what is the definition of deploy here? I think that's a part of the block for me. Deploy here means literally that someone built a solution. So here, Meredith, let's say I'm your manager and I've just told you that, hey Meredith, you know what, go to Google Cloud Project and spin up 2 VMs. They should have Ubuntu operating systems, and once they are booted up, make sure that you open up the firewall and you clone this git repository and configure nginx and open up port 80 and then run a web server. This is the plan. I have thought all these things, I've documented all these things, and I've given it to you, Meredith. You don't have to think about this at all. I've given you what you need to do, right? But you know what? You don't know how to configure nginx. You don't know what a firewall, you know what a firewall means, but you don't know how to configure the firewall. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference here? This gap here is where that deployment thing, the block happens. It's like they say that um no, I forgot about that. It's there's a funny proverb regarding that also. So if you don't know how to configure nginx, learn. If you don't know how to configure a firewall, try to learn. If you don't know, and Meredith, here's a challenge for you. You should do all this without using Google Cloud interface. I will only give you a Linux terminal. You have to do using CLI. Oh, for my exam, I learned how to learn using clicking buttons. I don't know how to do using Google Cloud CLI, command line interface. That's a block. That's a problem. You will not pass that interview. Meredith, I hope that answered your question. Is there any particular cloud service or in deployment in general? Not in a particular cloud service, any cloud service. Any cloud service that you are responsible to work on as an engineer. Is there a main determining factor? Chris, you hit the nail on the head. Is there a main determining factor that all these people you mentioned are freezing when it comes to deployment based questions? Yes. One, lack of fundamental knowledge of how cloud works or cloud infrastructure works. For example, they may have studied for the exam, but they missed out what does a subnet means, what does an IP address means. So when it comes to deployment, when I tell them you need to deploy a class A network, I know what class A is, but I don't know how to type it, right? So that is what I mean. They freeze. Sometimes they don't know coding if it's a coding related interview. Sometimes they are too afraid of what will happen if I take that step. Will there be a nuclear, sorry for using that word again, but will there be like a blast or will there be like a like will what, it's not like a James Bond. You're not part of a James Bond movie or something where you hit that enter key and something happens, right? Move over that fear. That's what I do as one part of my exercise of removing that fear from people. In deployment, I tell them it's okay. What is going to happen, right? And that is why you have quick labs. That lab will self destruct in 1 hour. You can do whatever you want within limits, within reason, within the intention of your exercise, but you can break it. You can delete a production database. You can create a VM and delete a VM. No one is going to charge you, no one is going to ask you. So the whole point of quick labs is to overcome that fear of that deployment. So once we are done with 6 weeks, I will ask you a question. How was your experience? Because you were through that experience, right? You just didn't study it. You didn't just study how to set up a cloud. You didn't just study how to plan a cloud. You didn't just study how to ensure. You didn't study how to configure. You literally did all of those things. And that's also one of the reasons why I signed up to do this. It just makes my job easier, right? I mean, you are getting more out of this program through Quick Labs, so it actually helps me to convey these topics to you in a more easy manner so that you can practice those things. Public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, that's fine. Having an issue with deployment. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Deploy is publishing, that's correct. It's like small, yeah, okay, probably because they, yeah, on and they have no experience. Yeah, you know what, Christopher? They might not even done what we are going to do, the cloud skill boost and Quick Labs. They didn't do all those things. Yeah, MA about the YAML and stuff. Yeah, it's all fun. Absolutely. Yep. Self-destroying cloud sounds so cool. Exactly. That's the whole point. Cool. Awesome. So, quick check here. Do we know, not verbatim, not exactly word to word, but do we know um, what to expect from an associate cloud engineer? Google Cloud certified associate cloud engineer. Do we all know? If we did not know a few minutes ago, at least now do we know? And Saurabh, thank you for replying. I'm glad that I did not put you to sleep. Thank you for staying awake as well. For those who don't know, Saurabh is past midnight for him in Japan. Thank you, Saurabh. Probably my loud voice also, right? Yeah, man, that's fine. That's totally fine. It is. It's a very superficial, high level understanding, just bullet point level understanding, just aligning our thoughts, right? Okay, yeah, this is what is expected out of me. There are many other things that is not expected out of me. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right. So this is our 6 weeks journey. Okay. So let's look at it. Pre-work, well, have some experience. If you have, that's good. If you don't have, we'll try to gain some here. Week one, we are in week one now. So today is Saturday. So week one ends coming Friday. Then next Saturday will be the beginning of week two. Then the next Friday will be the end of week two. So that's how we'll move the window. Okay, so we have officially kick-started week one. Hooray! So we are here, and when you go here, I'm not sure how many of you have this slide. So what I'll do is I'll quickly share this. Okay. So please click on the link that I have just shared. I hope it opens for you. Yuri, I think we are doing this. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Are we doing this weekly or bi-weekly? Um, Access requested. You should not have. So let me see. There we go. And you know what? I'll give you guys commentator access so that if you want to interact with me or each other in this slide, you can just add a note. I'm sorry, just one moment. You guys have been spamming me on LinkedIn. Thank you. You should be able to see it now. Oh, again, I can see a lot of people already on the screen. So if you're on week 12, that'll be great. Oh, bi-weekly, bi-weekly. Okay. Confirmed it's bi-weekly. Okay. Sorry for that confusion. Okay. From my side, do whatever she is saying. Whatever Shinli and Venia says, just do that. October 15th. Great. I'm sorry if I messed up the dates a bit. Just a moment. I am going to share my screen again. So we have the session 2 on October 15th. My bad. I'm really sorry. I thought it's weekly. Um, Vani, if you don't mind, can you please unmute and just one more time confirm? We are doing bi-weekly, right? So the next session will be on 15th.
Yes, that's right. October 15 will be the next section.
Awesome. Awesome. So you have 2 weeks. You receive the slides. That's great. So week two will be, let me quickly write down here also, right? Then this is October 15th. So you have a lot of time to go through all this content. Okay. Now, this slide is kind of your schedule or your syllabus or that type of a slide here. So keep this bookmarked and measure your progress against it. If you are one of those overly enthusiastic people like me, you could probably do multiple things in a week also, right? So feel free to do that, but this is your checklist. We will be doing this like the in this weekly period, and what we are trying to do here is learn, practice, learn, practice, train, practice, train, practice, train, practice. Maybe here there is no practice. week 5. And here we have the final practice. But this one is a bit outside the curriculum. But it's a nice thing to do. I would urge you to do it, but it is optional, like it's highlighted. Okay. So every week we will do the exam guide review, and yeah, we have the study group and everything. Yeah, so we'll have all that. When yeah, let me know if I've missed anything or if I have miscommunicated anything so far. Okay,
For sure, Pragith.
cool. Um, Great. So looking at the questions one more time, since I messaged, you needed access. All of you have access. We are doing bi-weekly, and when will the session open to register? Oh, is it not open yet? Anyway, one year will take care of that. So we are here. So our focus is this week, right? So what does that mean? What do we need to do to fulfill the requirements of this week? We need to go through 2 on-demand training sessions and 1 hands-on practice lab that will most probably give us badge. Yes, it'll give us badge. Okay. Now, this is what is going to happen. Please listen carefully. And if you have doubts or feedback or recommendations, now or in some time is a good time to come up with those things. You can give your feedback and comments to me. Okay. These things take time, so you can do them at your own pace. First thing that I want you to confirm is when you click on preparing for your associate cloud engineer journey, it should redirect you to this page. When you do it, are you able to sign in? And don't I'm not finished with the question. The internet speed is making me pause. And and when you click your name, are you able to see some amounts of credits here? Can you tell me what number do you see here? Awesome. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that each credit is close to one or a little over $1? I mean, you cannot redeem it. It's not like casino. um, but the thing we have this uh, the reason why we have the credit system is because we are using cloud. I don't know how many of you have watched Silicon Valley, the TV show sitcom. They talk about credits, leasing out cloud credits to one of their customers in season 2 or season 3. The concept is that you exchange one form of currency with another form of currency, just like in casino, right? You pay money and then you get tokens, right? Or the counter. So here, because cloud costs money, there are a lot of memes out there that cloud is free because cloud trials are extremely generous. The funny questions are like, who pays for the cloud? Right? So it's like that. But yeah, people do pay for the cloud. So because you need to pay for the cloud, it costs money. And because it costs money, it needs to be traced how much is being spent and where is it being spent. So because right now we are doing all this free study group, free everything, free learning, free this, free that, we are not really charging money. No one is charging money to me and no one is charging money to you. So we have been assigned credits with a business justification saying study group. And that's why we have the system of credits. The first thing I want you to do is, after you're logged in, make sure that you're logged in with the account that has credits. Brian, if you have 0, whoever has 0 credits, please reach out to Vania. Vania, if you don't mind taking their email addresses, and then we will check in how to give them credits. However,
Sure.
However, if you have 0 credits, it doesn't matter for now because go ahead and click on enroll in this on demand course. Oh yeah, this is just the first day. We are just getting started with the interface and everything. Um, I don't know where you stand, right? So now I know few people are very rich and few people have 0 credits. So we'll get that we'll get those names and we'll make sure that you guys are in the system so that you don't have 0 credits anymore. And don't worry, you won't be with that zero for too long. In fact, nah, I cannot share that. Yeah. Okay. Where do we go to log in? I'm going to drop a link. You can even go here to log in. Other way to go here is this is your portal. This is your gateway to learning everything, getting badges, and then you maybe get eligible to get the exam voucher. So this is your gateway. Okay, this is your checklist. So Chris, you need to click these links on the top, 1 2 3, all these. But because we are in week 1, this is the link we have to click. Okay, so once you're enrolled, in fact, when I click on this one more time, you can see that it takes just one whole day to finish this, just this. And then we have another one that takes 2 days to finish. No, you don't need to change anything or any comment. You just need to click on this link. Chris, yeah. And then you just need to log in. Or you can even click on the link that I just shared. So this one takes 2 days. And finally, once you're done with that 1 day learning and the 2 days learning program, then you have this, the quest, which takes 5 hours to do. And once you're done with this, I mean, 5 hours, 30 minutes or 40 minutes at a time. It's not like 5 hours in one stretch. Okay. Once you're done with this, then you unlock something called as the badge. So I will sign out and I'll show you my other profile. For some reason, I have 2 accounts, just like a lot of us. And my progress is synced in multiple places. So here's my public profile from another one. Do you see how I completed one badge? Right? And when I click on this, it shows that I finished this. This is one badge. How many badges do we need, guys? Can you see on the screen how many badges do we need to say that I'm done with the program? Yeah, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So towards the end, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, 4 and 1. Yeah, 4 plus 1. 4 this and then 1 optional. You're right. So we'll be doing these things and then we will keep seeing how many badges we have earned here. That will tell us where we stand in our um, learning, in our sorry, in our certification learning journey. It will tell us like how much we need to go and where we stand, and how much doubts or how confident we are in each of these topics. Okay, so before I get into these things, I want to show you a sneak peek of these topics. Okay, but before I do that, any questions based on this tool here? Just enough whatever we have seen. I've not gone too much in depth. Based on whatever we have seen so far, do you have any questions? And what is expected out of you? Those kind of that is my expectation from you, that you should have understood what is expected out of you. If not, then please let me know. Okay. All right. So let's quickly look at these topics. We won't go too much in depth. A lot of these words may not mean anything to you. May mean a lot of things to some of you. It's absolutely fine if you don't understand the next few minutes of what we are going to talk, and it's totally fine. It also, even if it sounds like a foreign language, okay, but I'm still talking in English. So, do we have to finish lab in one shot, or are there more than one chance? That's a great question. You know why? The reason you are being given 500,000 credits, it's because you can do it multiple times for any reason you are facing. Personal reason, you spill coffee on the laptop, you have to stop the lab. Your pet is calling you, you have to close the lab. You started and then you're just not in the mood, you have to close shut down the lab. You just spent one credit and then you're just not in the mood to do whatever reason it is. You failed in it. You cannot technically fail in it, but let's say you're not able to finish it in that time period because it self destructs. Totally fine. It's all fine. That's why you have been given with so many credits, so that you can do it, redo it again and again. Great. Week 2 study group. Week 2, we will set up how to we will learn how to set up a cloud environment. We'll learn about billing. What do projects mean, what do accounts mean, what do these words mean, and they sound similar. When should I use the concept of accounts versus the concept of projects? Right. And managing billing is very important. Money, where is the money coming from, where is it going, how much should go, how many alerts, all those kind of things, that the features that are available, so that I get alerted. Just like your bank, whenever your balance goes below a certain number, you should get an email, right, or an SMS or something. So like that. Installing and configuring the CLI. I told you there are two ways you can interact with the product, Google Cloud product. The two ways are: one, using the web interface itself, clicking buttons; two is the command line interface. When I am teaching these things, I strongly push for learning CLI. Even if you don't like it, even if it's not colorful, even if you cannot click on it, I know it's boring, but it makes you tremendously powerful. And I'll tell you that later why. So it's very important to learn CLI. Albert, don't worry, we will figure that out. So just drop those names, and Vinny, I will take care of that. We will get in touch with Google and we'll make sure that you're covered there. But for starting this, I don't think you need any credits, so you can get started with the week 1 content. Planning and configuring a cloud solution, right? So pricing calculator. So money, right? Money is always important. You can use MySQL database. You could use Postgres database. You could just use BigQuery. Why would you use, for what purpose, and how is that affecting cost? Then learning about compute, basically processor, RAM, storage, and then data storage options, network resources. So we'll learn all that. Then we will layer on top of whatever we have learned. We will layer more skills on top of that. So that is more focused on compute engine. Then we will focus on managing the resources that have been built. So first was just creating, deploying, planning, then deploying, then managing, monitoring. I hope that sequence makes sense. One more time. Week 2 will be planning, configuring and planning, then deploying, very important week, and then managing. They are already deployed. Maybe someone else deployed it. You have to manage it. You joined a company, it's already huge. So you have to manage it. So you don't have to deploy, you just have to manage it, right? Then focus on the less touched topics, unfortunately, which is security. So we'll talk about that. And then finally, we will learn about a little bit outside and other components of GCP. So how we can use or interact with GCP using APIs, using other programming languages and stuff. and then just about logging, monitoring, uh, deployment, CI/CD, all those kind of things. And that's the end of our learning journey. Following the bit about CLI, does anyone have great resource for learning? Yep. Free Code Camp and Traversity. Uh, the keywords you need to be looking for are um, uh, Linux. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I'll take a step back. What is recommended is general terminal scripting and stuff. But here I'm talking about Google Cloud specific CLI. So if you want to learn Google Cloud, you need to go into Google Cloud documentation. Even I don't remember everything. Even in the morning also I had to Google something for one of the CLI commands. But you need to know the basics. Like how do I configure a project in CLI? How do I configure an account? How do I log in a CLI? Those kind of basics you need to know. Everything else can be searched and looked into the documentation. I hope that cleared the difference. Will we need to know Terraform, Ansible? No, not even Kubernetes. ACE is the fundamental exam, or associate level exam. You're not supposed to know any of those things. You should and must know Kubernetes to pass the professional cloud architect exam. Also, how many of you have a public library account? Just a public library card. Toronto Public Library, amazing. If we have Toronto Public Library, all of you can access O'Reilly Learning Platform for free. Do you guys want to see? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. So even Mississauga Public Library also it works. So I will log in using my friends Toronto. Let's see if it works. I always have it bookmarked also. Okay, let's see. First, let me see if it works, and then I'll tell you. Safari Books Online is what you get, by the way. So I'll first do this, and then I'll show it to you. Okay. Okay, I think it works. Yes, it works. So I'm going to share the link. You need to go click on this, and you need to, and it's anyway. This video got recorded, so you will be seeing, how I did it. You just need to log in and keep pressing the buttons, and now you're here. Remember that your settings will not be persistent, will not be saved. You are sort of using a public account, and none of your history will be saved. So you need to manually bookmark things into your browser, and you need to save whatever you're doing, but you cannot expect something to be in your history. You can pin something, you can bookmark something, and then it will automatically come up the next time you log in. No, it won't work, ma, unless you are using your personal account. This is not a personal account, this is a library account. Here bookmark and playlist won't work. So after you go here, then you can explore whatever you want. It's huge, it's amazing. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, all right. So quickly going ahead. Ma, which library account do you have? Is it New York Public Library? We get ebooks, videos from this library. None of them are downloadable, but they are accessible. All O'Reilly books, future yet to be published and already published, all video courses. They have tremendous professional content there, including for Google Cloud preparation as well. Yeah, you cannot download. They're viewable. Yeah, I'm interested in knowing more. Interested in knowing more about that. I don't know how to make the bookmarks persistent. Cool. So the exam. The exam is for 2 hours. It's a multiple choice, multiple select exam. There's no prerequisite to give the exam. And like I said, 6 months of practice, but we are doing this in sort of like a month or a month and a half. So we will really try to be as good as we can. I like using I like oh my ZSH, and I have customized it using some themes and stuff. My terminal. One more thing that is left out of this slide is very important. Google does this to their exams. They will make certain questions without any points, like unmarked questions, as in they will look like normal questions to you. You may even assume it's an important question, but randomly Google may remove the weightage of that question. So Google does that. The way they score their exam is very different than how other companies score the exams. um, from your side, what you can do to prepare is just do your best. Don't try to break the game, don't try to cheat the game, or don't try to game the system. um, just prepare for the exam really well. Just know the topics really well. Okay, so how can you be good at this? Build and follow a study plan. That's what we looked at before. Understand the business problem, practice to learn, not just to pass. Okay, sharing is caring, learn together, leverage the community. I think we covered that long before when we started this. So here we have some sample questions to review. But before that, I want to talk about next steps, and then just give me one moment. Okay. Okay. So with this, what we really need to do now is go back to this, which is our most important slide, and go with the first one, which is preparing for your associate cloud engineer journey. You already joined this one, I hope. I will sign out and sign in with my proper account. Yeah. So if you subscribe to the first one, then you should have seen, you should be in this screen when you click on resuming this unit, this preparing for associate cloud journey. Now, can everyone confirm for me that they see exactly what I see? It's free, so you can work with this even with 0 credits. Great. Awesome. Access denied. Make sure, Yuri, you're logged into the right account and then you enrolled into it. Did you enroll to this? one. Yeah. Then what does it show, Yuri? Okay. Yeah, do make sure that you bring it up to us, either me, Vania, or Shinli, to ensure that I don't want any of you to have any access related issues. Okay. First day is fine. First day always access issues, and then after that it's fine. Okay. So now we are done with all intros and the program overview and everything. Now we are into the meat and bones of the program, which is the learning and practicing and sharing our learning, then learning, practicing, sharing our learning, that loop. We need to set some expectations here to understand how we are going to learn and what we are going to learn and where we are going to learn that. How, where, and what. We will not be going through these videos in this setup here when I am talking. I'm not going to play this video and I'm going to be like, very interesting, no? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, you need to watch this video in your own time, in your own leisure and pace, at your own time, pace, and everything. Once you're done with these videos, you will have a workbook or a quiz. Let's open this workbook. You can see this workbook. This workbook also probably could be the slide itself. Sometimes it could be a questionnaire. Okay. Then we have the quiz. So we will give this quiz. This quiz is more or less what comes in the quick labs quiz and stuff. And then a slightly similar or slightly more complicated questions are what they come in the main exam. So I hope these dots are connected for you now. So you learn, you watch the videos, you give this quiz, and then you do that hands-on lab for the badge, reaffirming your learning. And then once you're done with all that, when you go and give the exam, you're already familiar with the way, the framing of the question, the options that are available. So it gives you some amount of confidence when you're giving the exam. Okay. So what I want to do is, I want all of you to finish all these videos. So, learning all these things, and the second program here, which takes 30 credits. So, by the time you're done with the first one, we would have figured out how to get credits to you. So, when we need to probably accelerate getting the credits for them probably in the next maybe 1 or 2 days, right? And then make sure that you're signed up for this as well, and then do all these things. So there are quizzes, labs, and videos. Quizzes, labs, and videos. And the reason why it takes credits is because there are labs. The reason why this one was free is because there were no labs, only quizzes and videos. And then do this. So sometimes going forward, we will do these hands-on lab practices or some of these labs in this session. Okay. And then we will, considering how much time we have, we will leave the rest of them to all of you asynchronously. So basically these sessions are to regroup, understand new topics, go through the labs, some of them, and then go through the remaining labs asynchronously, get the badges, get your doubts cleared, and then keep moving on. Does that make it clear to everyone? Do you have any questions? Clear. Great. Yeah. So Because we are in our first week, what I want to do is I want to do at least one or two labs with you, just so that gets recorded and all of us are in um, all of us have experienced the same process, the same interface, the same buttons and everything. So all of us would go through the same issues or solutions, and then it's just going to be rinse and repeat from there onwards. It's just going to be the same action but with different objectives. Maybe you need to do a database configuration next time, but similar buttons and and all those things. Okay. So um, we are skipping the learning part for now. That's fine because you're going to learn at your own pace. We are going to do something now. Okay, do action. Action is what we are going to do. So I'm going to this one, the create and manage cloud resources hands-on practice lab, and I'm also pasting that link here. This is where I am. For those of you who have credits, please feel free to do this along with me. If you don't have credits, please watch, and then the moment you have credits, you can do this. Okay. All right. So every quest, we need to first understand what is the objective. What are we going to achieve? What are we going to learn? What are we going to practice? What is going to be my approach? My means my individual approach in achieving this lab. By saying my, focusing on me is when you have options, you have the freedom to switch between them. Not all the time you will have those options, only sometimes. And whenever you have them, use that option to decide what. It's sort of like selective or elective in university courses. Elective, which one do I want to choose, and which one do I want to excel in, which one do I want to focus and I want to pave my own path in the future. I'm happy to drop hints, clues, tips and tricks for you, but ultimately I don't want to force you into doing something. I would strongly recommend you, but I won't force you in doing, choosing one over the other. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, was I on mute? I'm sorry. My bad. It's a Saturday after all. Write gcloud commands and use cloud shell, create and deploy VMs, run containerized applications on GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine, and configure network and HTTP load balancer. Sounds like whoa. We were just like on all these colorful slides. It was looking good, and now you're throwing me right into the fire pit, right? Well, it is coming after your learning phase. This is all coming after you learning. But because for this intro session we are not doing that, um, you will learn that, and only then you will stumble across all these words. So just for now, just for today, it's an anomaly. Just bear with me. It won't be like this all the time. Whenever we are doing a week's labs, you would have already learned all those things in the last couple of weeks. Okay. So what is this pre-assessment? Okay. If you have that pre-assessment, oh no, don't click on that. Oh, sorry, do not click on pre-assessment. Pre-assessment is sort of like, hey, I'm already a master of all these things, I don't have to do all these things. Just take me to the pre-assessment so that I can just give the exam and clear and get the badge. So, because most of you or all of you are newbies into this technology, don't click on pre-assessment because you wouldn't know all those things. Take it step by step slowly. So start with this introductory free lab. So I'm going to click on a tour of Google Cloud hands-on labs. The link is in the chat. It is free, so I encourage all of you to do it with me. I've pasted the link in the chat. Can any of you tell me if you are not seeing what I am seeing after clicking the link that I shared in the chat? You should be logged in. It shouldn't matter if you have credits or not. Okay, now let me ask you this question. Can everyone see what I'm seeing? Awesome. Well, welcome to your first lab. Okay, so if this is the first time you're seeing this interface, welcome to this beautiful product. This is where anything goes. You will have 45 minutes with your own private Google Cloud environment. You can do what you're supposed to. You should do what you're supposed to do. It will detect abuse. It will immediately detect if you're trying to stray away from what you're supposed to do in the lab. But with respect to what you're supposed to do, you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, for instance, let's say you're supposed to create a database, and that's it. You can create a database and you can delete it. That's not abuse. You're just practicing. No one will give you the option to delete a database. It's always tempting to press the big red button. You can do this here. All right. So remember that you have that freedom. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to get intimidated with the interface. This is why we are here. This is why I am doing this personally. And this is why we have the whole product of labs. Okay. So before clicking the start lab button, I hope you haven't, but it's okay if you have. uh, you need to read all these things. So in this lab, we are going to go over all the services that Google Cloud offers. We'll see what the browser, the what the website looks like, what the product looks like. So we will learn all the key features. We will access Cloud Console with specific credentials. We'll do all these things. Okay. So this is what every lab has. Very beautifully listed. Sometimes I feel so happy that this whole thing is for free. Such a quality learning material right out there. Makes my job easy as well. So prerequisites. This is an intro lab. So make sure that you have. They're saying that go through all these things, but because you are with me, you're covered, right? Because I'm going to fill in your questions or doubts if you have any, and we are going to do this. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, well, go ahead and learn these things, is what it says, right? Um, but that's okay. Go ahead and do this. Now, this is very important. What happens is Albert, a good question. What happens if you don't finish the lab in 45 minutes? You lose the progress you have made in those 45 minutes. All the commands you wrote, all the files you created in that lab, the lab gets deleted. The Google Cloud account gets deleted. So make sure that you do it within that time limit. All the cloud labs give you at least 30 minutes more than required. Okay, so lab fundamentals, let's start learning. This is the interface. Make sure that you read this at your own leisure time. Don't click on this button, not now. You see, one credit is usually equivalent to $1. Okay, I have to start over. What do you mean? Oh, okay, so you answered that question. Okay. Yes. Oh, and by the way, may I know your name? Mary. Cool. Most of the labs you can perform it shorter than the estimated time. That's correct. Hi, Mary. Cool. So let's quickly do a quiz. This when I click the start button, a start lab button does. Sorry, hold on. What is it saying? Hold on. Answer the Mallu. I think I may have to press the start button. You know what? We are. It's free, so why not? Let's just do it. Okay. Let's just press the start lab button and listen to my instructions very carefully because you need to do this every time you start a lab. Yeah, correct. You're right. So I'm going to click on start lab and please. Yeah, we'll be able to finish the first lab right now. We are going to do this right now. And what I will do is, and then I'll call it a day. I hope all of you will be okay with that. You should be. I hope you are enough with me, like listening to me and looking at me on a Saturday. Enough of me. So then next week onwards we'll do more interesting things. So I'm going to click the start lab button and please focus on what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share again. Okay. All right. So the button has been pressed. Do follow what this is saying. So it's saying that open this console in incognito window. Always open cloud login in incognito window. So I clicked on this link and incognito window and I'm on this screen. Can everyone see what I am seeing? After clicking open cloud console in incognito mode. Okay, great. Now click on next. Can you guess what the password could be? It's right here. Click on this copy button, paste it here, and understand and agree and all that. Yep, I agree. So do all that. Once you're done with clicking all the buttons, this is how your page should look like. Do you see what I am seeing? Anyone who is not seeing what I'm seeing? Uh, if you can split your screen into two, if you can, or if you have two monitors, that's awesome. Make sure that Google Cloud is on one screen or one half, and the lab page is on the other half or the other screen, other monitor. Scroll down to your quiz. Now, which button builds a temporary environment? Score button, start lab button, the time button, or the credit button? Yeah, there you go. When the timer reaches zero, you will lose access to your temporary cloud environment. Yes. Some labs have tracking which scores your completion on hands-on lab activities. It means this tracking. It is checking for tracking. Like for me, before that 45 minutes ends, for all of us, by the way, we must have done this at least. If we don't do this, if we don't get 100 out of 100, we have not done this lab. We may have to redo it. Remember that. So, true. In order to receive completion grant, you must complete the required hands-on activity. Yes. Okay. So now I have clicked the Start Lab button. I use this and I have opened sign in, and I have signed in, and I see this window. Exactly what I see on the right side. Can everyone come to this screen of the lab? There is no charge at all, Albert. For free labs, there is never a charge. For the credit based labs, the credits will be drawn from your account. If you don't have credits, we'll get it to you in some time. Otherwise, you will have a lot of credits. You don't have to worry. Rod, which screen are you not seeing? The right side or the left side? On the left side, it's all about just scrolling down. In the same lab page, just keep scrolling down till you hit the second quiz. Or you can even do Control F and search for test your understanding. One more quick round, guys. Is there anyone who is not seeing what I am seeing on the lab screen? Or you can click on this button, check my progress, Vania. Okay, great. Rod, please let me know if you're able to see this. Okay, I will. I'm looking at the chat, so I will look again if you're facing any issues. Okay. So answer, guys. What field is not found in the left pane? Do you see open Google left pane? Yeah, not found. Do you see project ID? This is the project ID. So this is the project ID. Do you see open Google console? Saurabh, do you have more than 500,000 credits? That's fine if you have more than 500,000 credits or 50,000 credits also. Actually, even if you have more than 1,000 credits, it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It will decrease. Password. Do you see something called as password? If it had password, that is the worst design it has ever made, right? I'm going to go with password. Let's see. Oh, that's wrong. Wow. Look at that. Oh, left pane. I think is this what they are meaning? No. Oh my goodness. Which field is not found on the left pane of this? Oh, this pane. Oh, yeah, rookie mistake. I'm going to take the excuse of Saturday one more time. It's a Saturday, guys. So we don't see system admin. Yes, we don't see system admin. The username in the left file, which resembles Quick is a cloud IAM identity. Is it a cloud IAM identity? We will see what it means. Again, if you would have gone through that learning material, you would have known. But we'll go into IAM. We'll go into IAM here. And here, I see this email address as part of that entity. Yes, it is there in IAM. I don't. I'm just pretending. Okay, so I don't know what these three letters mean. IAM. First time hearing about it. I look at this navigation menu. I see those three letters. I click on those three letters and I see what it is asking. Yeah, it is true. This is me approaching without knowing anything. Head first. Obviously, if you were doing this after going through the learning material, you would know what you're doing. Yeah, identity and access management. Yes. Here we have all the got lucky. All the overview. It has our project name, project number, project ID. Project ID is very, 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 very important. That is sort of like your username kind of thing, like almost like a unique identity. Think of it like your address for your virtual office. When you say that all my data is in the cloud, well, whose cloud? Which project? This project. Yes, it handles accounts, identity access management. Basically, not just handles accounts, but their access level as well, permissions and policies. Thank you, my first name and my last name. Thank you so much for attending. And see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks. Yeah, absolutely. So here we can see all the projects that are available. If I click on this here, I can see all the projects that are available. Click on all. There are two: Click Labs resources and this one. So I can see in the select project, I can see Quick Lab resources and this. So just like this animation here. Do not switch. Don't switch. Okay. Cool. So let's understand. An organizing identity for anything you build with Google Cloud. Is it a project, username, bucket, or password? What is it? What is the answer to this first question? Project. Yep, exactly. It's like a, yeah, it contains all the resources. Quick Lab resources is shared read only with all, which means that you cannot delete or modify it. Well, read it means you cannot delete it, right? Is a project where you run all of your lab steps, true or false? Are you sure, Mary? It's a shared project. We might use it sometimes, but do we use it? Yeah, we don't. We use the project that is being given to us, handed to us when we press the Start Lab button. Okay, so here we have some navigation, right? So here we have all these services. If you like a service, we have been talking about IAM. Let's pin it, bookmark. Or okay, these are all already bookmarked. Sorry, these are pinned. Yeah, these are all the other ones. Yeah, so these are all pinned and stuff, right? I can unpin it, it will go away. I can pin something and it'll come back. Okay, I use this feature a lot because I have to switch between the services quite often. So you can see all the types of services that are there. We looked at all the departments, right? These are all the departments or business units that I was talking about. Like these are all the various services, cloud services that are there. I don't think you want me to go into all of these things, right? I think like you will be going through that material anyway. Yeah. IAM is identity and access management. That's correct. Roles and permissions, very important. So let's go into IAM and then let's go into roles. No, let's click on just this IAM and you should see this. Find the user account that you logged in with. It should show editor. Can you confirm? You see editor where I'm exactly highlighting on the screen? It is one of the three basic roles. You have viewer, editor, and owner. Viewer, read only. Editor, edit. Owner can, it's like super admin, like they can edit the privileges of other people, right? So what am I going to do? Well, these are the viewer, editor, and owner. These are what they mean. So let's understand some of these things. Which feature gives us quick access to all the services? Cloud operations, got privileges on Windows, like super admin mode, right? Navigation menu, networking. I think it's networking, correct? Does networking offers us quick access to the platform services? Yeah, navigation menu, of course. That was my first trick question of the session. Okay. Basic roles set project level permissions and unless otherwise specified control access and management to all Google Cloud services. Let's read this again. Basic roles set project level permissions and unless otherwise specified control access. Is that true? I don't know what basic means. Oh, I literally read it like the word basic role as in a technical term basic. No, it's like here. I thought something was basic. No. Basic roles set project level permissions and unless otherwise specified control these things. The button doesn't work. That's all right. You can skip it. Make sure that we are doing this properly. That's all. Provides all viewer permissions plus permissions for actions, modify states such as changing existing resources. So all viewer plus modifying editor. Do you see how it was worded? Viewer for sure plus on top of that. Okay. Okay, let's do what we are supposed to do to get the score, our first badge of the day. Okay, or first badge of the session. Let's get into activating an API. So what are we trying to do? Google has so many services. You can use those services programmatically, not just by clicking buttons and stuff. So to do them, to access a service programmatically, we use an interface that has been built by that program so that we can consume its resources. That's why it's called as application programmable interface. To build your own application, sorry, to build your own application, you have to use an interface that is application programmable, compatible, right? So someone else should have written pieces of code in a way that they are allowing you to use their services in your applications. So for example, if you want to build a Twitter sentiment analysis, you want to build that, your application, your startup idea. But whose data are you going to consume? You're going to consume the data from Twitter, someone else's database. Someone else is the data provider. So, what do you need to do? You need to request them gently, calmly, with respect by creating an application. When you create an application, you tell them that you're almost getting into a handshake agreement. You're saying, hey, Twitter, with this application I agree to not violate terms and conditions, blah blah blah. I'm not going to abuse your data and stuff. Please give me the data. So Twitter will give the data in a way that you can consume in your application. That's API. So just like that, Google provides tons of APIs. Sorry, Christopher, it's not like different layers in blockchain. It's a slightly different concept though. Here we are talking about a client service architecture. So here in Google Cloud API, we have ML, we have database, we have IAM, cloud functions, VM, so many things. So like that, we have an API called as Dialog Flow, which is the one that you use with your phones. When you say, hey, and then it triggers your assistant, and then you start having conversation. You say, book create a reminder for me at 2 p.m, and you stop, and then it tells you, okay, reminder created. For what? Then you will tell, for haircut. And then, okay, reminder set. This is the conversation you have with your assistant. That's the Dialog Flow API that makes it happen. The software, the application that was built by Google or Samsung in my case, interacts with the Dialog Flow API to make this reminder setting happen. So we are going to use the API services. We're going to go to library, because it's a library of APIs. I told you, right? Like Hadoop is a library of APIs or frameworks. Android is a library. It's a book. It's a knowledge base, right? Maps, right? I can know so many things about maps, but I can know zero things about cloud vision, right? So like that. So here we'll go and we'll follow what it says. We will go and we'll search for Dialog Flow. It's already there, but I like searching. And click on it. Are you all with me so far? Go ahead and click this beautiful blue button. Then wait for a few seconds, of course. And it's not your internet that is slow. It's a very huge thing that you're doing for your project. Imagine that creating this GCP project is like buying a piece of land. You bought a land, and tremendous amount of potential is there on that land. You can build a mall, you can build a house, you can not do anything, you can do whatever you want. Now, sure, thanks for joining, Bambam. So you are, what you're first trying to do is, you're trying to put a water pipeline. You're saying, hey city, start giving me water connection. I'm going to put water connection, start supplying me water. Then you say, hey electricity board, um, I'm going to put electrical wiring, start giving me electricity. You are enabling API so that these service providers can start serving you for the application that you're going to build on that land. You can build anything. You can build a mall, you still need water, you still need electricity. You can build a small home, you still need water, you still need electricity. You need these services. It takes time to, for the service providers to provision these services to you. For the land example, it may take days to get electricity supply and water supply, right? Because they have to initiate that. Just like that, it took few extra seconds than just browsing the internet when you clicked on that enable button. I hope that makes sense to all of you. And by the time I was rambling about this, you should have received 100 out of 100. Or if not, click on check my progress. And can you please tell me if you see 100 or 100 or not? Okay, awesome. Not Rod said no. Rod, did you enable? Do you see what I see on the right side? Vinny, if you don't mind helping Rod out, maybe DM him or something like that. Chris, you don't see 100 out of 100? Look at my scroll bar here. My scroll bar is almost towards the end. On the right side, make sure that you have clicked API services. I mean, you're in library, and you go to Dialog Flow, and you have enabled it. Did you click on enable, Chris and Ron? Yeah, you would need to do that, Ron. So if you, oh sorry, Chris, Chris, you would need to do that. So go here, API services, library. Can you confirm, Chris, if you have done that? Yeah, library, exactly. Yes, follow what Mary is saying. Thank you so much, Mary. Once you are there, you should see this marketplace or catalog of APIs. Do you see what I see now, Rod and Chris? Once you have clicked library. Oh, actually, we are almost at the end, and we're almost like we have only a few more minutes to go here. So I'm going to end the lab very soon. So I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page, and it's totally fine. I mean, no pressure. There are only like two people who are having problems, so totally fine. Also, while these guys are doing that, a quick question to everyone: when you start a lab, you need to enable APIs in your project to start working with Google Cloud. Is it a necessity or no? Now, you may know the answer, but can any of you explain why it is not a necessity? It is a tour of this one. Yeah, MA. Oh, sorry, Mary, you're right. Not every time you're learning going to do something in Google Cloud is dependent on an API. In this project, we were supposed to do that, so we did that. We don't have to do it all the time. So all of you are correct. Once you're done, for those of you who are done, I'm not going to do, but if you are done, Elizabeth, you're right. You're right. Once you're done, please click on End Lab button. I'm not going to do unless Rod and Chris are comfortable. But if you are done with getting the 100 out of 100 credit, please click on End Lab. Now, Rod and Chris, I'm going to focus on both of you. Please let me know if you can dedicate a couple of minutes to me and answer my questions. Yeah, cool. So, are you? Can you see this library page? Yes or no? First question. Chris and Rod, the first question to both of you. Do you see this library page? Yes. Now, did you both click on Dialog Flow? And after doing that, did you click on what was that? Enable or not? Yes or no? You can't find that section in the cloud. So, no, I want to reframe your sentence. It's not in the cloud, but I want to see in the navigation. Do you? You said you can see this, but you're not able to see Dialog Flow. No space. You're not able to see Dialog Flow. Okay, I'm going to give you this direct link here. But instead of the project ID that I have typed, you need to type your project ID in the end. Don't click on that link. Copy paste. I mean, you can click if you want, but copy paste that link and enter your project ID there. And tell me if you are able to see what I'm seeing. Yeah, dialog flow. Chris and yeah, thanks to Robbie. And please don't forget to do all the other learning material and be ready for the next week. Um, Rod and Chris, quick question again. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to search dialogue here? Can you search dialogue? This is the word that we are searching. Good. Now, did you enable it? Did you get 100 out of 100? Okay, awesome. You're in dialog flow. Awesome. Did you click on enable, Rod? You need to click on enable and wait. Click on it only once and wait for a few seconds. It should go into some other page eventually. Chris, one more time. Did you get 100 of 100? Did you click on check my progress? If you did, please feel free to click on end lab. Okay, cool, awesome. Rod, let me know if you were able to click this and you got 100 of 100 or not. Did you do you see, do you see 100 out of 100 on the top right of your screen where I'm moving my mouse? Okay, and click on check my progress, this button. Check my progress. And tell me if you got 100 out of 100 or do you see 0 out of 100? Okay, awesome. So now please feel free to click on end lab, this big left red button over here. Click on that. When you're done, when you come back to this page, you will see a green tick. Thumbs up or yes from everyone that all of us have done the first lab with no issues. Great. I'm almost done. I just want to get a quick feedback from everyone. How was your experience so far with me, dealing with this tool interface and everything? All good? Any recommendation, comments, feedback as of right now? Great. You are allowed to complain. You are allowed to say no. And you can give me feedback. Okay. So absolutely feel free to give me feedback. And thank you, Ania. So here, now we have done this. So let's quickly check few things. Okay. No, not these things. We will do this next week. Yeah. So next steps. Follow your learning plan. So go back to this, bookmark this, take printout of this, whatever it is. This is your first week. We are here. You need to be prepared with all these three things the next time we meet. Then we will be doing the sessions or labs of that week. Okay. And that's how we'll keep moving on. Okay. Build, follow a study plan, understand the business plan, practice to learn. That's what we are going to do. Our homework as organizers, number one, make sure that all of you get credits. Make all of you get credits. The click labs, quick labs credits. There should be some sort of Slack study group. So uh, I'll check that. That is my homework. Your homework is to follow the study plan, finish all those things, Be ready for the next one. If you're not, then you may miss out on all the new things that we're going to pile on top of them. Next time it's not going to be all this informal way of using the words. It'll be more technical, more formal terms. We'll talk about projects, we'll talk about VMs, we'll use word compute, we'll use the word network, firewall, IP, and all that, right? um Vania may be able to answer about the study group right now, or all of us as organizers, we will come back with that answer about a Slack study group. Saurabh, please refresh this page. Open this page, Saurabh, and tell me if you see this green tick or not. The link that I just shared. I see the green. That's it. That's enough, Saurabh. That's all. Make sure that you finish all these, and then you will get your badge. And to do that, make sure that you are learning before doing those hands-on labs. So make sure that you all of you are doing these things. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday time with me. I really, really appreciate your patience and your interaction. Please keep this energy and momentum going. Your energy fuels me. If you don't chat like this, then I will also become dull. So make sure that you are cheering me and we keep cheering each other up. We will only improve from here. We are just breaking the ground here. We have hit the ground running, and thank you so much for your energy, and thank you Vania, and thank you Shinli for all getting all of us together and all your patience. If you have any questions for me, I'm here for maybe 2 or 5 more minutes. If all of you are set, then I don't know, Vania, over to you, I should say, or maybe feel free to drop. I don't know, Vania, what do you think?
Sorry, yeah, I need to drop off, Prajit. Thank you.
Yeah. So feel free to drop, guys. Thank you so much. My email address is pragith@pragith.net. LinkedIn is, please add me. And the credits are those ticks and the badges, Albert. The one that we saw here. This is how we are measuring your progress. This is that tick is the credits. But if you're talking about the quick labs credits, you will get that. If you don't have, you will get that from Vania or Shinli in some time. AWS is similar, Chris, you're right. Transferable skills, you learn cloud functions in one, and then you call it Lambda, AWS Lambda in the other. Thank you for your feedback. Vania, I think we have a Google form for them for the feedback for today's session, right? Do we have it right
Uh,
now? So that,
Not sure. I haven't checked it, honestly.
okay. Um, so one request I have from you guys: the only catch, everything is free, right? All the learning material is free. The sessions that I'm conducting are free. So there must be some catch, right? The only catch, which is also free, by the way, is I would really, 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 really appreciate if you can share the feedback. Not here in the chat, of course, feel free to do that. There will be a Google form link shared with you. That is the only catch. I promise.
You will receive an email
Yes.
to you can share your feedback, your experience with us, and we will appreciate that you can share your experience about if how can we improve uh right away. So please do it. Thank you.
Yes. The sooner you give me feedback, the sooner I'll be able to amend my ways and to tweak the way I deliver content. And it's also the feedback that Google is asking from us as the people who are the speakers and conductors and the hosts and organizers. So it would be very helpful if you can fill the feedback form. And that's the only request. So thank you so much, guys. That's it from my side. That's it for today. Thank you so much and goodbye. Feel free to drop. Bye. Thanks, Vania. Feel free to drop. Bye.